They have been around since the beginning of Dragonball, and they never seem to truly get defeated. But what exactly is the full story of this evil organization that continues to be a thorn in the side of our Z fighters? Let us dive into that today. Hello and welcome to History of Dragonball. Today we are looking at the full story of the Red Ribbon Army. When we start off in the world of Dragon Ball, we see a young boy named Goku begin his adventures with a young girl named Bulma. But little did we know that Goku would soon be going toe-to-toe with not just a fearsome enemy, but a fearsome army. The Red Ribbon Army is known across the world for its involvement in war and weapons, even to the stage that the Earth's military force itself would not dare to stand up to it. However, this belief came down to a strong propaganda game as opposed to being backed up by the truth. The leader of this army as we first see it is a man named Commander Red, and through him this army has one main goal: to obtain the mysterious and magical Dragon Balls, summon the Eternal Dragon, and make a wish for world domination. Albeit there is really a different wish in there for Commander Red, with him actually wanting to be taller. Because between a few extra inches or controlling the world, sometimes it's just hard to choose. Commander Red really struggled with his height issues, as he even asked those who worked with him to not stand anywhere near him if they were taller than him, which most of them were. Staff Officer Black discovers Red's true plan, and he ends up killing Red, which also means at this time, at least in the anime, the Red Ribbon Army becomes renamed as the Black Ribbon Army. All this happens at the same time that a certain young boy comes to their doors and single-handedly defeats them. That's right, one boy versus an entire army that sells themselves as more powerful than the Earth's military forces is defeated with little effort. Okay, yes, we know that Goku is Goku, so it is no real surprise, but if you think of it in terms of those who worked for the Red Ribbon Army, then this must have seemed like insanity. Surely there had to be more to it than just that? But nope, just Goku. When the dust settles, Goku had killed Black, and in the anime this is presumably where the name returned to what it was. And then also, those who had remained in the headquarters fled for their lives. Despite at this time the Red Ribbon Army being disbanded, that did not stop their front company, Red Pharmaceuticals, being kept alive and turned into a legitimate business as the years went on. So, after a time, the Red Ribbon Army was all but forgotten to the world. That is until we reached the Android Saga of Dragon Ball Z. Dr Gero had survived the downfall of the army and had kept his work going in secret at his secret laboratory located in the mountains north of North City. What was his goal in all this, you may ask them? Well, it was to create the ultimate fighting machine, and one that could basically just bring down that nuisance kid, now man, Goku. Dr Gero had actually invented a clever tracking device too, disguised as a ladybird, that followed the Z fighters and gathered all the information that he could on them to then program into his inventions. Many of his early attempts were failures, but eventually he had some joy with androids 16, 17, 18, 19, and even turning himself into android 20. While constructing the androids, Dr. Gero discovers a new way to fuse together the cells from the strongest warriors that walk the Earth, being the likes of Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, Frieza, or even King Cold. And together, he tries to create them into a supreme fighting entity. After realizing though that this project was taking way too long and it wouldn't be done in time, he decided to turn his attention to other matters instead and just leave his supercomputer in the laboratory to try and complete this ultimate being, which, if you hadn't guessed it by now, is named Cell. Cell later actually speculates that Dr. Gero had created him to not just defeat everyone on Earth, but later to take over the entire universe. From here though, as we know, the events of the Android and Cell sagas happen, which ends up in the defeat of Cell and Android 17 and 18 being left alive, but without their android bombs in their bodies. And also on a side note here, when the androids and Cell attack, the world as a whole did not know that a scientist from the Red Ribbon Army was behind it all, so their name was never linked to it. However, in the future Trunks timeline, this was not the case, as by the time Android 17 and 18 had destroyed a good amount of the world, people became aware that they wore the Red Ribbon logo, therefore realized where they had come from. The Red Ribbon Army is then forgotten for a long time again. We do get a brief mention of them in Dragon Ball Super with the discovery of Android 17 protecting Monster Island, along with the help of Cell Juniors that had survived the battle with Gohan. However, nothing more to do with the Red Ribbon Army is relevant at this time. That is, until the new movie release of 2022, Dragon Ball Super Super Hero. The front company, Red Pharmaceuticals, has begun conducting evil plans again. At this time, they are led by Magenta, who works as the company's president. They are still considered a legitimate business here, but that's just for now, because evil never sleeps. It is revealed that it had been Magenta who had been funding the work of Dr. Gero all those years before. Magenta is in fact the son of Commander Red, with it being hinted that Colonel Violet is his mother, and his plan all along had been to rebuild the dominance of the once great Red Ribbon Army. After the failure of Dr. Gero, Magenta finds and hires Dr. Hedo to come in and build him the new Red Ribbon androids. Dr. Hedo is in fact the grandson of Dr. Gero and was regarded as far smarter than his grandfather. Dr. Hedo is a man who is obsessed with making the ultimate android superheroes, as he is a massive fan of old superheroes, so he wishes to recreate his own. This is what leads him to create Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, basing them off superheroes that he was a fan of himself. These weren't the only androids he created though, as he was also the mind behind the creation of Cell Max, the ultimate and upgraded android of the original Cell that was created by Dr. Gero. In the end, Cell Max is released way too early by Magenta, leading to Dr. Hedo killing him while trying to stop Magenta from doing this, with Cell Max then getting defeated by Gohan, Piccolo, and the Gammas. So, with Magenta killed and Dr. Hedo going on to work for Capsule Corp after realizing the error in his ways, this feels like this could be once and for all the end of the spell of the evil of the Red Ribbon Army. Or could it? We've thought the Red Ribbon Army was gone before, and it still comes back. So there is always a chance. So with that rounded up of what we know about the Red Ribbon Army, I thought I'd quickly go over a few non-canon events that they became involved with too. Although I will also add, some people are still in debate of how canon the superhero movie really is, or if it will just be treated more like the older Dragon Ball Z movies where they're more like alternate timelines. But anyway, first we have their appearance in Dragon Ball GT. In GT they have Dr. Gero meet Dr. Mew, where together they have two Android 17s create a portal from Hell to Earth, to then fuse and create Super 17, who ends up being killed by Goku, so not directly the Red Ribbon Army itself, but still with Dr. Gero being involved. And then we have them in Dragon Ball Heroes, where we see two different teams made up of their members in the Super Space-Time Tournament, but they are all defeated with not much fuss. And finally, we have a handful of Dragon Ball Z movie appearances as well. Firstly in The Path to Power, which is basically just a remake of the first saga of Dragon Ball, and the Red Ribbon Army wants the Dragon Balls so that they can wish for world domination before they are then defeated by Goku. Then we have the Super Android 13 movie. Again, this is a situation where the army doesn't appear as such, it is more just Dr. Gero, where his mind goes into a supercomputer after being killed by 17 and 18, where the computer then releases androids 13, 14 and 15 to try and kill Goku, where they then fuse to make Super Android 13, but are obviously killed by Goku after he absorbs the power of a spirit bomb. And really, so there we have it, the full story of the Red Ribbon Army. With the recent English dub release of Dragon Ball Super Super Hero, I thought it would be a good time to go over the story of the army that started all things off and is still going strong, creating evil and trying to kill the Z Fighters, mainly Goku. I hope you all enjoyed this video for today, and if you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and selecting all notifications with the bell icon too. And so, thank you for spending just some of your time with me today, and I will see you next time on History of Dragon Ball.